Hi Rob, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
How's your week been?
Oh, it's been fairly busy and quite productive, I hope, but we'll see
Okay.
what happens
Yep.
after this meeting.
Oh, okay. Look forward to hearing all about that. Okay, well, did you get my email that I sent?
I did, thank you very much. It was very well researched, yeah. It was
Okay.
a great job.
So we talked about just a summary of what we talked about last time. So just to quickly recap that, we established that your sewing business, Custom Cushion Covers, is going well, selling made-to-measure cushion covers, and you're working 1 to 2 days a week, or about 2 days a
Yes.
week, and you are looking to maybe increase that amount of time a little bit. But one of the things, or one of the reasons that you wanted to do some mentoring sessions is that you're thinking of expanding the business, you're wondering what might work, you want to be a little bit more creative, but also choose a product that obviously is going to sell and is going to sell for a price that makes it worthwhile, the time you're spending making it. Yeah, so we talked about finding out what people are going to pay for different products, and you mentioned pot holders, oven mitts, and I think we also talked about memory cushions at one point. You've got lots of equipment at your sewing workshop, so that's great, but you thought possibly some of the sewing skills you have could be enhanced a little bit, so we can think about doing that. And I think one of the things that we really need to think about as well is getting you online, whether that be a website or social media. So yeah, does that?
Yeah, that sounds about right to what, what was in the email and to what I remember from the previous meeting, yeah.
So what sort of things have you been thinking about in the last week?
Well, over the last week, I tried to engage with some of the things we discussed. I had a quick look online to see if there are any other companies selling memory cushions or memorial cushions. I could only find one other person in the whole of Australia, and they're on the East Coast. So there's definitely a niche here for us over in the West, and for perhaps mail order to other states could be worthwhile.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose the advantage with a cushion cover, especially if it's just the cover, it's very easy to send
through the mail. Yeah, be relatively cheap as well.
Yeah, and then people can get their own, if it's a standard size, get their own
cushions inserts. That's right.
Yeah.
Plus, I was having a look at my skills, as you say. I wanted to enhance my skills, so I had to look online to see if there are any workshops for perhaps hand stowing or hand stitching in case that was necessary, and also embroidery.
Okay.
And maybe I saw a product called a Cricut. Have you heard of those?
I have, yes.
That will enable you to cut out handwriting and things like that. So I've been exploring bits of equipment like that. So if someone wants a handwritten message, they can write it down, you can scan it, and then the Cricut will cut it out onto an iron-on type transfer.
That's a fantastic idea. Have you got the equipment and the skills to be able to do that?
That's something I'd probably have to practice a little bit. From I've looked at a couple of YouTube videos, and it doesn't look difficult, so maybe if I follow those tutorials rather than a formal workshop. It's just a matter of what type of, because the Cricut, they come in tiny ones, for smaller jobs, all the way up to these mammoth ones if you want to cut out something really big. So it's a matter of what are my needs, what am I likely to need, those sorts of things, and how much skill is involved in software. And I have a computer. It's a pretty decent computer, so any sort of software should be okay if it's necessary to run.
Okay. All right, that might be something that we can talk about more a bit further down the track as once we've established
I might be getting a bit ahead of myself on all that. I'll stick to the sewing first.
It's brilliant that you've got these ideas. I think that's a really interesting idea. Yeah. So out of the things that we've talked about then, which of the ideas feels most meaningful or most exciting to you?
I think the memory cushions would be the most meaningful. I think grief and loss are a big thing. You know, I have a friend of mine who's a psychologist, and many of their clients are there for grief and loss and things like that.
Yeah.
And one of the key things they advise their clients, they were telling me, is to have some kind of memento, something that they can help them with their memories, to remember the good times of loved ones. Not just people though, but pets are a really big thing too. You know, people are really attached to their pets.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's surprising how much people would pay on their pets. I don't want to be really drawing on people's emotions, but the pet industry is quite large.
It is, yeah. I remember my parents once were walking through the shopping centre, and there was this huge line of people coming out of this one shop, and they're thinking, what's going on here? And when they looked, it was, have your pet photographed with Father Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So I think the pet industry is definitely one to look at. Okay, so we really looks like we're focusing on the memory cushion idea, and I do think that's a fantastic idea. I think it's got a lot of advantages. We just need to work out all the finer details, really. What sort of price are we looking at? How are you going to actually make them? How long is it going to take? What materials do you need? How do you source those materials? How do you get the word out there? All these kinds of things. Yeah,
I guess making them is just the first step. It's marketing and things like that are a big step as well. Having some kind of business plan, perhaps.
Yeah, but that's all absolutely doable. It's just one step at a time. Yeah. So, okay. So do you feel comfortable focusing on one strong product to start with?
I think so, yes.
Yeah,
that
so
might be the
we
way
get
to go.
Everything worked out for that one product, and then down the track, once we've really nailed that down, we can start to think about embellishments, like you were saying, the handwriting and
embroidery and
yes, okay. What emotions do you think a memory cushion maybe would evoke in a customer?
Well, the idea of any sort of memorial item is to evoke, you associate happy memories with that item. So
yes,
if people would be picking to make their memory cushion, the idea is that they would choose something that belonged to the dearly departed. So it might be their wedding dress, or it might be a suit jacket that they wore, or a sports blazer that they own. So it would have a logo on it that you could incorporate. For pets, it might have been the favourite blanket. So when you look at these items, you have a memory associated with that blazer. I remember when Dad or Mum wore that top at my graduation, perhaps.
And we all had such
a lovely time. Where it's like that was Rover's favourite blanket, and he used to drag it around with him all the time, and he wouldn't go home anywhere without it, and that sort of stuff. So it just evokes those really strong, happy emotions, though.
I think that's great, because selling something that has a story attached or some emotions can be a massive boost to a sale. Okay. Who do you think might buy these?
Well,
you've said pet owners.
Pet owners become in all ages and shapes and sizes and all that. So there'd be no real age or personality demographic. It'd just be anyone who owns a pet. You know, and pets range from cats, dogs, rabbits, guinea pigs, whatever. You know, anyone that has a pet, if they're really attached, and a lot of people are quite attached to pets. In the case of human beings, it'd mainly be sons and daughters of people who have lost a parent, or even people who have lost a child, and they just want something, to remember their children by.
Turning something that is possibly very sad and negative into something more positive. Yeah, I think that's really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Right, I just check how we're going for time there. Okay. Right. So, have you had a look at any examples of the memory cushions themselves? What they actually look like?
Well, from the only other seller, they pretty much use a standard size insert that you can get from anywhere from Kmart, Red Spot, any sort of retail store that sells pillows or cushions, square cushions or rectangular cushions. They kind of come in standard sizes.
Yes.
So I would be making them, I would tell them, if they want me to source foam, I could probably do that. I know a couple of places that would cut foam to size if they want a particular size. But otherwise, I'd be suggesting using a standard size, mainly for costs and simplicity, and then I'd just make the cover and they could, it would have a zip and they could cover them themselves.
Yeah, I think
that would make it much easier to transport as well. If I had to send things through mail or courier,
you don't want to be sending a big piece of foam.
It would cut down courier costs.
Yeah, I think, as you say, let's keep it simple to start with. We'll probably just stick with a square or a rectangle that's in a standard insert size, because you can get a range of different sizes in cushion inserts, so people would have
a little choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you got the continental ones, which are quite large, and all the way down to throw pillows, which are only 30 centimetres square or so. If
you are thinking of a European that's actually about 60 centimetres, that's quite a large piece of clothing, if that's what you're making.
Well, if they got multiple items, perhaps, I don't know. Might be a whole suit, but then that's getting more complicated.
That's right. Yeah, it's taking more time. It's going to cost more. So these are all considerations. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about who might buy them. So the target customer, who would you say ideally that would be? Like, what sort of age? What sort of, ideally with a bit of money?
I think for the people one, it'd be people in their 50s, 40s, 50s who are losing a parent. So that's typically when most parents start to pass away, when children are in their 40s or 50s. For pets, it'd be, as I said before, all ages. Everyone has pets. But if money's a factor, you're probably not going to get a lot of teenagers, I would imagine. But you never know. But a lot of elderly people have pets that they've had for many years, and they're really strong companions, and they just want that little something to remember their daily
teenagers do spend money.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
But on things like memory cushions, or
I think
they would.
Some.
Yeah.
If it's somebody or a pet that's really meant a lot.
Yeah, if they've had them since they were a little kid, maybe.
Yeah, and that cushion, you can cuddle it.
Yeah, cuddle it. That's right.
And it can bring a lot of comfort, I think. Yeah, we've got our little pet joining in the session here. Hope you're fine with that.
Yeah, I love dogs.
Yeah. Okay. And the problem that the product solves is hopefully ameliorating someone's grief.
That's right.
Somewhat, and providing comfort. Yeah. Are there any other problems that the product would solve that you could think of?
Well, you came up with a very good one then. It's something to cuddle. It's a really tactile thing.
Yeah.
And it would, a lot of times, depends how much you washed it, but if you washed it in something that you're familiar with, it might still retain the smell of the other person. If they've got a particular aftershave, they could spray it with that or something like that. So, and smell is a strong evoker of memory as well. So that,
I'm thinking
but you could even have a, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say you could put a little pocket on it. Is that what you're going to
say? That's exactly what I was
have
thinking.
Some photos or something, a little...
Or even spray the aftershave on a bit of cardboard and keep it in the pocket just to keep that smell there.
Yeah. Oh, right. So many options. Yeah.
Like you say, we'll start simple and then build up.
Yeah. Have you got any idea how long a fairly basic cushion of this sort would?
Fairly basic one. I was thinking if someone brought in a shirt or a jacket or something like that, there'd be enough material for one of the smaller sort of cushions to cut it out, to sew it. The square ones are pretty quick to sew, so if it's just the shirt, maybe incorporate the pocket. I'm thinking 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or am I underestimating that?
Oh,
No, about that. I'm
You're
the expert.
yeah. Right. Maybe bear in mind that if you're cutting into something that's very precious,
Yeah.
and also something that's not just a flat piece of fabric,
Yes. And
that
there's no
could-
do-overs, in other words. Yeah.
that could take maybe a little bit longer, and yes, it's possibly one of those cases of measure twice, cut once. Yeah. So,
Well, the first one overdue will probably take me 3 days.
well, yeah, okay.
Or a couple of hours, but I think once I get more confident,
Yeah.
handling something that's precious, I suppose, is what you're
Yeah.
doing. So,
Yeah, so you're probably basing that on making a
yeah.
cushion out of a flat piece of
Yeah.
fabric. So,
out of fabric you can buy for $10 a metre or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah, so okay, an hour, we'll say an hour minimum, maybe. Do you know what you currently get per hour for your ready-made cushion?
For my ready-made cushions, I have developed a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, an algorithm that I've got on Excel based on how many centimetres or metres I'm sewing, incorporating the cost of a zip and that sort of stuff. It works out to about 50 to 55 an hour.
Okay. Right. Did you get a sense of what these people in the eastern states might be selling their cushions for?
They didn't really have their prices online, so it's more of a case of contact us. I guess if you're custom making something, then if there's any embellishments, prices may have to change.
Yeah.
So they didn't really give a cost online, which I
Okay.
guess a lot of people online do. So I found that a little bit annoying, but we may have to just come
I
up with
find
our
that
own
annoying
plan,
as well, yeah.
on
okay.
cost.
Yeah. We really need to research that a bit more, I think, because what people are prepared to pay is quite important. I suppose if there's not much online of actual memory cushions, you could be looking at high-end scatter cushions. What will people pay? It's not quite the same thing, but it'll give you an idea. Because I think some shops sell very expensive scatter
Yeah.
cushions. So
Well, there are some fabrics that are $150, $200 a metre. So if
Yeah.
you get 2 or 3 scatter cushions, you're looking at several $100s just for couch cushion. Good throw cushions on your couch.
yeah, and when there's emotion involved, I think people will be prepared to pay
For quality as well. Yeah.
what it's worth. Okay, so I mean, I'd say easily you'd be able to say ask 55 an hour for it, which is your
Yeah.
current going rate. But ideally, we want to
Pick
put
it up.
that
Yeah.
up a little bit more, because there'll be a little bit of toing and froing with.
That might be part of the discussion because I haven't revised my prices since before COVID. So,
Right, okay. Yeah, and I was going to say, if somebody is approaching you for a cushion like this, they might have specific ideas, they're probably grieving, it might be a bit more involved, the back and forth with the customer than you would currently have, just because you would like to be come
exact
across as
to their
exact
to
and
their
also
wishes.
caring and not to
Yes.
I don't know.
Money grubbing.
Well, no, definitely not that. Yeah, okay. Yes, so that's something we need to think about. How much can we charge for these? Would you be prepared to have a bit of a look into that
I
over
will.
the next few days
Yeah.
before we meet again?
Yeah. I was even thinking of maybe approaching funeral homes to see what, because they'd have products that, like photographs and stuff, and see what they charge for other,
Okay.
what would you call them? accessories that people may buy for funerals and things like that. So you can see, a cushion would fit into that. Like, what do people pay for flowers? What do people pay for other funeral services and things like that? So it might be comparable. You know, if people are willing to pay $100 on a bunch of flowers, they might be willing to pay $100 on a memory cushion.
Yeah, and I suppose funeral homes may even have some business cards for you.
It'll hold my business. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next, I just want to talk about who your competitors might be. You say that you've only found one online company. Have you looked at the website Etsy?
I have not, no.
Right. Etsy is the largest makers website in Australia. I'm sure you've come across it before. And although not everything on there...
So it's things like you come up with a design, they'll put it on a T-shirt and
some people
that
will.
sort of thing?
Yeah, it's supposed to be for makers, although it has moved into other things and just into products quite a lot these days. But it still is a place for makers, and I think that would be worth looking at for memory cushions, just in case anybody's advertising that service there. It may not have come up in a general search, so if you could maybe look at Etsy.
I've just done a general Google search, really.
Yeah, look at Etsy and also anywhere else that you can think of. Maybe there are other...
Like Temu,
kind of
even, or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we want to go that way.
No, but maybe someone,
Yeah, okay. Right, so if you have a look at it into Etsy, if you have a look into the pricing, and also the price range, because we've talked about some other ideas, like, I'm just going to jot these down, the pocket with a scent or a photo, the different sizing and maybe even different shapes.
Like triangular pillows and things like that, or even round.
Like a love heart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Possibility maybe. Something to think about. And the handwriting. We talked about that. Yeah, I think we should probably look into that as well. I wonder if we should have a quick discussion about that, because put a note here to talk about style. So we talked about a shirt or a jacket in a square, which probably realistically is going to be most of the customers.
And it'd typically be one-sided. You wouldn't do the whole cushion in the shirt. It might be just one side, and the backing, you'd have a front and back. So the back would just be regular material, which may alter the cost for some people.
Wouldn't it just be the back of the shirt?
Perhaps. If I'm just thinking, if there's not enough material for a whole cushion, depending on what the item was, then I don't know if that would cost more or cost less, but
and whether they're going to supply that fabric or you. Yeah, I think at a time of grief you can't be putting too many requests.
Or do they want two shirts and have all that? But like you say, we start basic and then start embellishing later.
Okay, so we had the handwriting idea. Were there any other ideas we had for different types of it? Or patchwork?
Yeah, embroidery or and the pockets.
That's right, patchwork. And embroidery. I really like the handwriting idea.
Just that you could do that in any colour and comes in sparkly, whatever.
That's heat transfer.
Yeah, heat transfer comes in all types of vinyl.
Yeah.
So there's lots of choices.
So talk me through the actual process of that. You would have, where does the handwriting come from?
So I'd get them to write a message, preferably using something like a Sharpie, so it's not really, like ballpoint might be a bit thin to scan. So if they could use a Sharpie in their own handwriting to write a simple message like, miss you Dad, or my favourite dog, or whatever the case might be. And it might have been a quote from whomever. Might be something
Okay.
their mum or dad or brother or whomever used to say, a little saying they had, like "see you in the morning" or
Yeah.
"see you when I get home." If they could write that down in their own handwriting, then it's simply scan that using, commercially available scanning software or whatever's
Okay.
on the computer.
Mhm.
I've got a printer that scans at pretty high resolution. You convert that into a particular image type and connect it to a Cricut, and it cuts it out into heat transfer vinyl. That whole
I understand
whole
the
area.
Cricut requires a transparent background. Are you able to
Yes.
convert
Yep.
the background? Okay. What would be really nice is if maybe you could get a sample of the handwriting of the person
Oh,
who's
yes,
passed.
indeed. Yeah.
Maybe from a letter or a card or something, or even a recipe. If it was sort of marked or on lined paper or something, would you be able to clean up?
I would probably have to
background?
do, maybe a small course, maybe an online course in Photoshop or something like that, just to how to isolate a particular colour or something in an image, so it just automatically choose the handwriting. If it was, say, the handwriting was in black and the background was yellow paper with blue lines, it could just isolate the black and erase the rest. But
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything like that. It might be worth chatting to a graphic designer or and even see what they would charge to make something like that.
Yep. Themselves.
You.
Yep.
Yeah, to save you spending, because that's going to add time
It would, yes.
to the cushion. Although I think it's a really fabulous idea, and people would hopefully pay.
Would it be like the old telegram days? You would pay by the letter or something like that.
Yeah, because if a graphic designer could just
do it quickly,
do it in a few minutes, and you could pay them $20, or I don't know, you'd have to find somebody who's willing to do that. Might be worth it rather than you spending a couple of hours fiddling about with it. But yeah, that's all things to have a think about. Okay. So you say that you would, well, we've sort of worked out that your minimum time would be an hour to make these. So if the person came to your workshop with a shirt, say, and said that they want a standard square cushion, what would your turnaround time
Depends on how busy I am.
be? Yeah,
Right now, I could, with no, I don't. I've got a couple of cushions I need to cover, but if I gave 2 days totally to this, at the moment there's no one. So if someone came today, I could probably say I can have it to you by this afternoon. But if business picked up,
yeah,
I'd be looking at, you don't want to leave it too long. Maybe
no.
a week at the most.
I think
That'd be too long or too short.
A week is good. I don't think people in that emotional state want to be chasing it up.
No, that's right.
Yeah, maybe keep them informed along the way if there's any kind of hold up.
Let them know straight up. Say, look, I've got 5 jobs before this one, so
Yeah.
you're looking at a couple of days, or as the case may be.
Yeah, I think it's something to approach maybe a little bit more sensitively than the average cushion customer, as we've said. Okay.
So I'm assuming you're going to want to spend a little initial time with them as well, just to find out what they want, what they desire, what the outcome, what they want the outcome to be like, and
and hopefully it doesn't turn into a long counselling session.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got a few things there for you to think about over the next few days. Have you got any questions for me?
Not at the moment. No, I think there was a pretty good. Came up with some really good ideas, something for me to go ahead with to research. So it's good.
All right. So just quickly going over, we want to talk about how much they're currently going for in the market. Have a look at Etsy, that you may find something on there. And we've talked about the customer, the turnaround time. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we needed to do. So
Excellent.
just have a look how we're going for time. Yeah, I think we're just about there. So thank you so much for coming
It was
again.
my pleasure. It was really productive today.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll see you.
Looking forward to our next meeting. Another week? Next
Yep.
week? Okay, lovely.
Sounds
I'll see
good.
you then.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.